everybody, it is Blonde Blitz time. Let's go.
He's had, but I still like the Commanders.
I'm also tough.
DeMar Chase.
Done.
I'm looking at that Cincinnati team against the Cleveland Browns.
Well, as soon as I saw the rain last night, I was wondering if that might be a little bit of a factor as well.
How we play that week is really going to be more impacted.
With the Raiders, who got Jacoby Myers back.
The same thing with Joe Burrow. You just expect Joe Burrow to do it because he's been to a Super Bowl.
It's time to send in the Blitz with Deb Whitcas and the Blonde Blitz.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Blonde Blitz. I'm your host, Deb Whitcas. Week 15 is gone, and week 16 is coming on up. Guys, just 3 more weeks in the regular season. It is crazy. Today, I'm coming to you from Frisco, Texas. I'm here for the U.S. Army All-American Bowl, now called the Military Appreciation Bowl, where the best of the best high school football athletes compete. They will be playing on Sunday at the Ford Center at the Star, the Dallas Cowboys training facility. And tonight, I got a chance to talk to NFL Academy and All-American athlete Joel Quaser from Germany. He's going to join me, and we talked about his experience in American football. Also today, it's playoff time in fantasy football, and my special guest is the author of The History of Fantasy Sports and the Stories of the People Who Made It Happen. His name is Larry Schechter. He'll explain the ins and outs of fantasy because I play and I still don't quite get it. Brian Snow of The Snowman in the Morning is here to help me out with hot takes from week 15. Shay Holland, HGTV designer to the athletes, is back. She's hosting her own show now. Her name is Game Day with Shay. So you guys have got to check that out. She's here to give us a tour of SoFi Stadium. We were in a suite. And she's also going to give us some tips to prep your house for Christmas games. As usual, sports betting expert Alex White is here for your best bet for week 16, along with fantasy expert Ballers Meg. Intuitive reader 333S Carrie looks at her power deck for the Steelers versus Lions game. And finally, Ben Troupe, former tight end for the Buccaneers and the Titans, is here to help me with week 16 game picks. So let's get it all started, guys. Here we go with headlines.
Now to Deb Whitcas with the Blonde Blitz headlines.
Week 15 delivered one of the most statistically loaded and dramatic Sundays of the 2025 NFL season. The LA Rams and the Denver Broncos became the first teams to clinch playoff spots, each securing their 11th win. 6 teams came back from behind, scoring 10 points or more, tying the most comeback wins in a single week in NFL history. Trevor Lawrence threw for 330 yards and 5 touchdowns while adding a rushing score in Jacksonville's 48-20 win. Myles Garrett recorded 1.5 sacks and now leads the NFL with 21.5 on the season, the 6th most in a year since it became an official stat. Josh Allen accounted for 3 touchdowns and now has 37 total scores this season, joining Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Drew Brees as the only players with at least 35 total touchdowns in 6 career seasons. Rookie Jalen Lane returned a punt 63 yards for a touchdown, one of 5 rookie punt return touchdowns this season, tied for the 2nd most in NFL history. Moving on to the AFC-NFC Players of the Week. On AFC offense, quarterback Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Lawrence accounted for 6 total touchdowns, 5 passing and 1 rushing, while throwing for 330 yards with no interceptions, becoming the first player in NFL history to hit those combined marks in a single game. AFC defensive, we've got safety Alohi Gilman of the Baltimore Ravens. Gilmer recorded 8 sacks and scored an 84-yard defensive touchdown in Baltimore's 24-0 shutout of Cincinnati, delivering the only defensive touchdown of week 15. On AFC special teams, kicker Cameron Dicker of the Los Angeles Chargers. Dicker went perfect in the Chargers' 16-13 road win in Kansas City, converting all 3 field goals, including 2 from 49 yards and the extra point. Moving on to the NFC offensive player, tight end Kyle Pitts of the Atlanta Falcons. Pitts posted 11 catches for 166 yards and 3 touchdowns in Atlanta's 1-point win, becoming just the 4th tight end in NFL history to reach those numbers in one single game. On the NFC defensive, we got LB DeMarco Jackson of the Chicago Bears. Jackson finished with 7 tackles, 2 passes defended, a sack, and an interception in the Chicago's 31-3 win, a stat combination no other NFC defender has posted this season. And finally, NFC special teams kicker Jason Myers of the Seattle Seahawks. Myers scored all 18 of Seattle's points, drilling 6 field goals, including a 56-yard game winner in the Seahawks' 18-6 victory over the Colts. All right, guys, that is week 15. We'll see you next week for week 16. So much craziness this week in week 15, and Brian Snow from Snowman in the Morning is here to talk with all about it. Brian, where are you at?
Next caller is Deb Whitcas, who says she has some really hot takes.
Hello, Brian.
How are you, Deb?
How are you? I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Fabulous. We've been talking a little bit this week about San Francisco. It is your team. You've been texting me and being like, Deb, are they going to go? Or are they going to make a run into the playoffs? Despite all the injuries, they're looking pretty good. What are your thoughts?
4 in a row for the 49ers, looking for 5 coming up this coming Monday against the Colts. And there's a certain person who's rooting the Colts on, but
yes,
I have followed this team since 1981, and I've never seen a more beaten up team. This includes 2020. This includes last year.
And
just do
before.
This, and the year before. But
yeah,
this is crazy even for me. They are sitting on the cusp of not only competing for the NFC West title, but competing for the NFC #1 seed. This is nuts.
They are. Mm-hmm. I remember halfway through the season, we had a discussion. I was like, I'm so sorry, Brian. Like, they're done.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I mean,
you were like, you were
capitulated. I capitulated. I said, you know what? There's just no way they can come back from all these injuries. Mm-hmm. And then the Rams drilled us at Levi Stadium, hanging 42 points and 400 plus yards on us. And all of a sudden, a sleeping giant has awoken.
Yeah. 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 And we'll see. I mean, and you and I said earlier, at the beginning of the season, we thought it was going to come down to the Rams and San Francisco, and it just may. Time will tell.
Crazy.
So many injuries this week. Mahomes is out with an ACL. Micah Parsons with an ACL as well. It was horrible to see him go down. Then Devontae Adams goes down in the Rams game, re-injured that hamstring of his that he's been, had an issue with for some part of the season. And then when Puka went down, granted Puka got back up, literally, Brian, I started crying.
Hey, I was crying to see so many players go down with an ACL injury, including Micah Parsons and Patrick Mahomes. And you never see Patrick Mahomes just limp off the field the way that he did against the Chargers. But when he limped off and did not come back, I said something is really, really wrong. My wife looked at the play and she said, I wouldn't be surprised if that's an ACL. I went back and looked at the play, and sure enough, it's an ACL injury.
Yeah. We did the same thing with Micah Parsons. We kept on kind of rewinding it and looking at it. And, I was with a bunch of my guy friends, and they're like, yeah, that's ACL. So,
yeah, that was an ACL.
With Devontae Adams, hit that hop, and I was like, oh, that's his hamstring. And Puka looked like a concussion, but I guess it was just a stinger. Like when he fell backwards, we were like, oh, but then he came back out and everything's fine.
Yeah.
Not going to jinx that one at all.
Exactly. I love Puka. Love Puka Nacua and what he's doing.
I brought you on to Puka.
You did. 2 years ago, you said, you got to watch this kid. Got to watch this rookie Puka Nacua. Man, I'm not worried about, oh, yes, I am worried about him. He's one of the best. Man, love what he's doing with the Rams.
He's the best wide receiver in the league right now. Question, we're talking about Mahomes, we're talking about Kansas City. They are not in playoff contention this year. Do you like it or do you not?
It's weird.
It is weird. I think it's weird too.
This is the first year since Mahomes has been the starter where they are not either competing for the division title or competing just for a playoff berth. But you and I said at the top of the season that the Chargers and the Broncos were going to give the Chiefs a lot to think about.
And they have.
That first win of the season by the Chargers over Kansas City put a lot of chinks in their armor, and now they have been fully exposed.
Yep. Well, and I think it started with the Super Bowl last year. The Eagles exposed them then, and it just didn't really get better this season. They had some bright moments when Rashid Rice came back. I thought they were gonna, go for a run. I love Pachenko. I was actually talking about him today. I'm going to try to get him on the Blonde Blitz. I'm very excited. And yeah, but it is weird. It's very weird not to have Kansas City in the playoff talks.
Yeah, it is.
What about the Texans now surging into playoff position with their 6th win? Who would have thought?
Man, Houston beat us up and beat us down. Okay? Houston hung 500 yards of offense on my 49ers. It got so bad that my wife came in here, saw the score, and she said, "Okay, we're going for a ride. You can't be sitting in front of the monitor looking at this." But man, Houston is right there. It's a 3-team race in the AFC South. The Colts are still alive. It's a 3-team race right now, but do not count Houston out. This team has gotten their act together over the past 5 weeks, and they are cooking right now. This Texas team is very dangerous.
Absolutely. And you just mentioned the Colts. It's kind of a must-win game for them this week.
They got to have it. In essence, they have to win out. They can afford one, and thinking 10-7 could get them in the AFC playoffs, but they are in must-win mode, and the injuries piled up for them. The inconsistent play has piled up for them even worse.
Yeah. Yep. And bringing in, Phillips. Yeah. I'm like, why am I blanking? But yeah, no, I think it worked. I mean, he did a great job.
It stabilized him.
Yeah.
It really stabilized him. But the person they need to get going is Jonathan Taylor. He's been shut down the last couple of weeks. But he's ever since that Atlanta game where he posted 244 yards, he has not been the same Jonathan Taylor. There's no injuries to it. It's just been an inconsistent offense. They have to get him going, and they got to get him going quick.
What do you think? What do you think about the Bills-Patriots game? Buffalo rallied from a 21-point deficit to win in Foxborough. I was shocked. I was at the Eagles game. I was looking back to kind of checking in on that game, and I saw the Patriots were winning, and then all of a sudden they were losing, and I was like, "What is going on here?" Are the Bills getting hot at the right time? Josh Allen's always been hot, but they haven't.
I went to make chili when it was 21-0. Okay, my wife was making chili. The aromas drew me into the kitchen. She kicked me out of the kitchen, and the next thing I look up, and it's 28-24 Buffalo, and I went, "What?"
Yep.
That win will ignite the Buffalo Bills. Because they weren't supposed to win in New England.
And I always pick them for Super Bowl, and they always let me down. I think I say this every week, and I'm like, oh my God, they're doing it to me again.
I've been picking Bills and 49ers since the late 80s because one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time is the great Jim Kelly. And I wanted to see him and Montana match wits, and later him and Steve Young match wits, and it's never materialized. If there's a window for the Buffalo Bills, it's closing, and they need to do this right now. They got the signature win that they've needed all year, and they got to take it and run with it.
Yep. We don't have time to go through each division, but I wanted to get your thoughts and kind of start the MVP discussion. Who do you think is going to be
Josh
MVP?
Allen?
Do you think so?
You look.
You don't think it's going to be Matthew Stafford?
No. Matthew Stafford's and I'll tell you why.
Also, Drake May.
I have nothing against Stafford. I will never have anything against Stafford. But Matthew Stafford's been there, done that. The signature win by Josh Allen in New England may have just cemented his second consecutive MVP.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just think Matthew Stafford has it. Also Drake May. It's like Drake May.
Drake May's in the conversation. You know,
Absolutely.
Stafford's in the conversation. Drake May is in the conversation. Hell, you want to throw an out of the way name that could be in the conversation? How about Christian McCaffrey?
That to him too.
He's in the conversation, but it could very well be Matthew Stafford's MVP to lose. Especially given the fact that there's an outside chance he may throw for a certain figure we like to call 5,000 yards.
Exactly.
But
he just threw
he's leading the NFL in passing yards. Wonderful season. But the voters look at past history, okay? And they also look at signature wins. Matthew Stafford's signature win was San Francisco getting revenge from earlier in the year. Josh Allen's signature win just happened.
Okay. I mean, I think Stafford, he just threw 368 yards, 2 touchdowns in that Lions game. That was a huge game.
Man, how is Matthew Stafford doing this with a bad back, a bad arm, and he's still throwing for 368 yards? I mean, Matthew Stafford has been incredible for the Rams. I will never take anything away from Matthew Stafford.
Absolutely. All right, Brian, thank you so much for stopping by and helping me out with Week 15 game picks. Where can our audience find you?
They can find me at snowmanmultimedia.com and Snowman in the Mornings on 5 days a week, 10 a.m. Eastern.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys. As I said earlier, I am coming to you from Frisco, Texas. I'm here for the U.S. Army All-American Bowl, now known as the Military Appreciation Bowl, where the best of the best high school football athletes are competing on Sunday at the Ford Center of the Star. It's the Dallas Cowboys training facility. Tonight, NFL Academy and All-American athlete Joel Quisser from Germany. I got a chance to talk with him about his experience in American football. Take a look. Hey guys, I have Joel Quisser here from the NFL Academy. He's also an All-American in the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. We're in Frisco, Texas right now. Everyone's just getting here. Joel, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. It was a long flight, but everything was being good and got a good night's sleep.
When did you get here?
Yesterday, I think like 10 p.m.
Okay, all right. And how many hours of a flight was it?
I think like over like 13 hours.
Oh, wow.
Because I flew from Germany to London and from London to Texas.
Okay.
So,
and now you grew up in Germany.
Yeah.
And you grew up playing football.
Yeah.
Why football?
So I started when I was playing 10, and like at that time I didn't play any sports, and then my stepfather came into my life. He used to play football. He was like, yeah, why not try it out? And ever since I fell in love with the sport, and yeah.
And why do you love it?
For me, it's just like a way to, because I got like a bit of aggression problems. So like it's a way for me to like express my aggression, like, yeah, just ready to hit people. Yeah, that's why I love football. Just the physicality. And you're a linebacker. Yeah, sorry, linebacker.
What drew you to that position?
So I started playing as an O-line and D-line. And then I think when I was like 16, I started playing, or like my coach was like, oh yeah, you want to try a linebacker? I was like, sure. And I always wanted to play like linebacker, to be fair, because I never liked or enjoyed playing O-line and D-line.
Okay. What didn't you like about it?
I don't know, like as a linebacker, you're able to make like way more plays like on the pass as well, because you're like everywhere basically, and you can just go like command all the people, like get the D-line right, get everything right, get the coverage right. Yeah, so it's just like overall.
So it sounds like you'd like to lead.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right. Talk to me a little bit about the camaraderie of your teammates and what that means in football.
For me, football, like every team I've been to is just like the moment you came there, you just like grow as a family together. Like you train together, you bleed together, you sweat together, and then obviously in the games it's like where it comes down, and yeah, it's just like one big family. And it's just such a beautiful, which like I never see at any like other sport.
And you're with the NFL Academy in the UK. Yeah. What made you? You know, that's first of all, that's really hard to do. So congratulations. What made you make that move?
So I had the choice to go into a high school or going to the NFL Academy. And for me, it was like, first of all, it's closer to home. It's only like an hour flight. And as well as like like if you play at our high school, you're like one of like, I don't know, 10 million players or 5 million high school players. And like if you're at the NFL Academy, like one of 60. So for me, it was like a kind of like an easy decision to join the NFL Academy.
Absolutely. And is NFL the ultimate goal?
Yeah, of course.
Who's your favorite team?
I don't got a favorite team.
Oh, all right. Who do you think is going to make the Super Bowl this year?
This year, I think the Colts could maybe do it.
Okay. The Colts with Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just came back,
from retirement.
After 5 years of playing, anything is possible, right? So you're also an All-American.
Yes, sir.
You'll be playing on Sunday, the U.S. Army All-American Bowl here in Frisco, Texas. When you got that phone call, you got that jersey, what did that mean?
I mean, I met Coach Tony, like, I think, was it last year? 2 years ago. I was injured at the game because I had like an MCL sprain, and like I was on the sideline with him, and like one from the opposite team, he flew into like outside, and I just like pushed him away. And like ever since there, Tony saw what like kind of person I am, and
so just so everybody knows, Tony is standing right here. We're going to bring him in just really quickly. Everybody, Tony, and it's Terror in the Trenches, and he trains Joel as well. Talk to me a little bit about Tony. What's he like?
He's a funny person, like that's for sure. Like I met him a lot of times, and like it's always just a blast seeing him, being around him, and just learning from him. It's a blessing, it's an opportunity. I'm really grateful for it, and yeah.
Amazing. You know what? I completely forgot this, but Joel has brought his NFL Academy helmet with him. I wanted to show everybody what it looked like because it's a little bit different than the NFL actual helmets. So kind of talk to me a little bit about it.
So it's an Axiom with my number 0 on the back, my German flag, and I'm from Congo and Angola. It doesn't really fit the Angola flag on it, so I just put the Congo. It matches with the blue. And yeah, you can see all the scars from it, from all the games, and yeah, it's just that's my helmet.
It looks pretty banged up, I'm going to be honest. This boy can work. What's your favorite part about being on the field?
Just flying around and hitting people.
and doing a good job of it as well. What are you looking forward to the most being here in Frisco and working with all the other athletes?
I'm obviously getting get to know like all the people, meeting new coaches, meeting new people, and having a great game, building new connections, new relationships.
And what team are you on?
I'm on Team Gold.
Okay. Starting linebacker, Team Gold. Have you met any of your teammates yet?
Not yet, but like my teammate Bruno Werner, he's an O-lineman. He's coming too. I think he's arriving today. But yeah.
So athletes will start, trickling in. You'll start meeting people. That's fabulous. Who has been your biggest support, through your football journey so far?
It's my mom. She's been there since my day one. While I was playing in Germany, she didn't miss one game. She came to all my games. She stays up watching all the games when I play in America. She's my number one supporter. She's been there through the ups and downs. Always behind me, always supporting me, and it's just my mom. Yeah.
And you also mentioned your stepdad as well.
Yeah, of course.
He started you in football. Does he support you as well?
Of course, he's also watching all my games. Came to all the games. They actually flew from Germany to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because we played St. Thomas Aquinas this year at the Tottenham Stadium, and they actually came and visited. It was a great feeling just playing in like a big stadium in front of them and just seeing how proud they are. It's a blessing. Yeah.
No, are they here today? Are they coming to this?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay. Well, we actually have a surprise for you. They're online. They're here to support you. And Anna?
Hello.
We have Anna, stepdad Lucas, and Aunt Lola.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Alles gut?
What do you guys have to say to Joel?
Sorry?
What do you guys have to say to him?
What do we have to say to him?
We are very proud.
Yeah.
And you make the way.
Are you guys really proud he's here in the States and
yes.
The gold team and this is quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity, and we appreciate it that he's so one of two internationals at the bowl on Sunday, and so we support him from here, and we watch the game on Sunday, and so we are very excited for him, and so we wish him all the best.
Are you guys having a party? You're having a watch party? What's going on Sunday?
Not a big watching party, so I think the game is at 8 p.m. our time. So, but I think so Lucas, Lola, me, his nephew is also here.
The whole
cousin, not nephew, cousin. So maybe my mom, and then
All right. What would you like to see him do on Sunday?
We need some flags.
Some flags.
No, some flags.
Okay. Wait, no flags. The flags will be bad.
No flags, more flags.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Flags and a lot of tackles. Yeah.
A lot of tackles, a lot of sacks. Do you promise to do that?
Of course.
All right. Everyone, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon.
Enjoy, have fun, and show the world.
Stay healthy.
We love you, Jess.
Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.
All right, Joel, thank you so much for being here.
No
Good luck on
worries.
Sunday. I'll see you these next couple days.
Thank you so
and
much.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, guys, it's playoff time in fantasy football, and my special guest and author of The History of Fantasy Sports and the Stories of People Who Made It Happen, Larry Schechter. He's going to explain the ins and outs of fantasy. Larry, coming up.
I'm still waiting for my invite as a special guest on the Blonde Blitz. My agent is waiting for your call, Deb.
Hi, Larry. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Talk to me a little bit about fantasy football. I play it. I have to admit, I'm really not that good at all. When did fantasy sports, when did it start?
Well, there were precursors to fantasy sports starting as early as the 1800s with tabletop games. And then there were things like Stratomatic and APA. And then modern fantasy sports, that what I call modern fantasy sports, the distinction is other games such as APA and Stratomatic were based on real professional athletes, but what they did in previous seasons. Whereas modern fantasy sports, you're drafting players for your teams before games are played, so you don't know what's going to happen yet. And the first fantasy football league started in 1963. It was actually a guy named Bill Winkenbach was a 10% owner of the Oakland Raiders, and he had in the mid to late 50s he had a primitive fantasy game for the PGA golf and for baseball. Mm-hmm. And he was a part owner of the Raiders, and they were flying from Oakland to New York one week for a game against the New York Titans, which is now the New York Jets. And Winkenbach told a couple of people on the plane about his games for golf and baseball, and they said, "That sounds great. Why don't we do one for football?" That was in the fall of '62, and the season had already started, so they talked about it and they created a game, but they had to wait till '63 to start playing it.
Go ahead.
No, to say, and then that's how fantasy football started, and it grew from there, from just then.
And it's grown huge. Why do you think people love it so much?
Well, people love football, and they love competition, and they love being able to be in charge of their own, pick their own players and make their own trades and things like that. And fantasy sports, it's grown to like a $25 billion a year industry worldwide. There are millions and millions of people playing. There's 60 million people, adults in the U.S. play, and that's not counting 18 and under. There are lots of kids 18 and under who also play. There are 200 million people playing fantasy cricket in India. There are games for everything from fantasy football, fantasy baseball. There's fantasy Iditarod, fantasy sumo wrestling. There's like fantasy everything. If you have something where you can have statistics and something to measure, you can make a fantasy game out of it.
And do you think people do it for the money, or they do it just for the fun?
Mostly for fun. It's competition. It's fun. It's also when I wrote the book, my idea was, nobody has ever written a book like this. Nobody has ever told the story of how did this all happen? How did we go from ideas people had years ago for games to where we are now with these millions and millions of people playing, as I just said, everything, from fantasy football to fantasy Iditarod. So my idea was somebody needs to write a book like this because no one has ever explained how this happened. So I thought I'm going to write a book called The History of Fantasy Sports, explain who did what, when, how it all happened. When I started researching, by the way, it took me 18 months of full-time research. I had no idea what I was getting into. But when I started getting to it, I started hearing things that were fascinating. And so I realized early on I could kind of tell the story of what happened and it would get the job done, but it would also come off as a very boring research paper.
Right.
But instead, I focus on the stories of the people and what they did, which makes the book easier to read and fascinating. The reviews are fantastic. People, what I just said isn't my own opinion. It's what people say. It's easy to read. It's fascinating. It's funny. It's inspirational. The stories are great.
And what's the biggest takeaway? One more question. What's the biggest takeaway from the book?
Yeah, I lost my train of thought there, and that you reminded me where I was going with is the question. Something that I had no idea this was going to happen when I started researching the book, but one of the biggest themes is that fantasy sports builds relationships. Their co-workers play, parents and children play. There are people who went to high school or college together that would have probably drifted apart over the years, but they've stayed together for 30, 40, 50 years because they're playing in a fantasy league together. So that's, really answering your previous question about what makes us so great is a relationship building. There's a guy, I interviewed dozens of people for the book. One of them is a guy named Mark Mariani, who was with Turner Sports. And when he first got hired in the sports industry, he was in Chicago and he had never heard of fantasy football. This is years ago, but he was invited to play in his company's fantasy football league. And they explained it to him. When he realized that he could pick up the phone, if he played in this fantasy league, he'd be able to pick up the phone, call his boss's boss in the fantasy office in Manhattan, and that guy would pick up the phone and talk to him to talk about a trade or whatever. When he realized that, he joined immediately because that guy ordinarily wouldn't take this phone call in a million years.
That makes sense. And you're right. When I play with my fantasy league, it's my gym. And, you go, you work out, you don't really talk to many people, but yet we text each other and we're all about football and it's fun. And we learn from each other. Larry, where can our audience find the book? It would make a great Christmas gift. So,
yeah, anybody who plays fantasy sports will love the book. There's 99% of the information they've never heard. I didn't know any of this stuff when I started. I've been playing fantasy for years. It's on Amazon. That's the easiest place to find it and get more details and see all the reviews. It's available ebook and paperback. And it's also, if you don't like Amazon, it's available. Most booksellers' websites have it paperback and ebook.
Great. All right, Larry, thank you so much. Happy holidays, and we'll see you soon.
Hey, you too. Good luck in your fantasy playoffs.
Thank you. I'm not in them, but it's fine.
Good luck next year.
Thank you. All right, guys, next, Shay Holland, HGTV designer to the athletes, is here to give us a sweet tour of SoFi Stadium and also give you all the tips on how to get your house ready for the Christmas games. Shay, come on out.
When I need the latest in style and entertainment, I tune into the Blonde Blitz.
Ever wondered what the VIP experience is like at an NFL stadium? Well, today, I'm going to show you. Come with me on a tour of SoFi Stadium. We're at the VIP entry. Hi, it's under Shay Holland. The elevator's here, so let me head to where we're going. You're going to have so much to show you in here. So what's really cool, the theater seating in the suite. You will not go hungry in the suite. I mean, it's even an experience here in the restroom. So these gorgeous marble countertops, this wall treatment. So we're getting ready to take a tour of SoFi Stadium. What most people don't know about SoFi is that it is actually built underground, and that's because it's in an airline flight path. So we're actually heading down to the field. So we just finished on the field, and now we're going to head back up to the suite and finish up the tour for you guys. Goodbye, SoFi.
Hello, Shay, you there?
Hey, Deb.
Hi, I cannot see you, but I can hear you.
You can't see me?
I cannot see you, but that's okay.
Oh, no.
Well, we can just talk. That's fine. How much fun did we have at SoFi?
Oh, that was absolutely amazing. To spend that, private tour at SoFi and just all the people that we got to meet and just, to see that behind the scenes was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to be actually handpicked to be on. It was the woman who moved the game. It was a lunch and learn at SoFi, sponsored by Office Beacon and Pro Florence Sports. So that was someone here is saying Shay is the new John Cena.
No, I don't know why. Wait, I'm going to try one thing and we'll see. I still can't see me on my other camera either.
Oh, no. Well, we can still talk on audio. Audio works. We'll be good. What were your favorite parts of SoFi?
My favorite part was definitely the food.
Okay.
And there is no doubt about that.
Your one camera
can hear
just
you.
came up. I can see your ring light.
Oh, wait. Okay, so that's my back camera. I'm going to turn my entire phone around and
there
see
we go.
what
There
happens.
she is.
I don't know what the framing looks like.
You're fine. It's all good.
Because I can't see it. Okay.
You're fine.
Well, that's something. That'll work.
There you go. What parts did you like of SoFi? I thought it was all gorgeous.
Yes, I was saying for me, it was just, there's so many amazing little details there, and the luxury materials and the food spread and just the views, obviously, down to the field. There's just so many things that you could point out that just, make it for a VIP experience. It really is. And I can, you can just imagine when those suites are filled with, celebrities and other A-listers, what the vibe must be.
Well, and I loved the fact that there was theater seating so you could watch the game, but then also there were tables and you can it was mingling and watching at the same time. And the views were just spectacular of the field. And I love bathrooms. I'm a little weird. I loved the private bathrooms in the suite too. I thought that was extremely nice as well. Not to have to go use like the public restroom. It was like a private, just your friends bathroom.
Yes. That is definitely, especially if you've ever been to a game and waited, 30 minutes in line for the restroom. That is one of the key things. And they're so large and spacious. I don't know why they made them so big, to be honest with you, because there's not showers in there. But you definitely
there almost could have been. Almost could have been.
Yeah, they're about as big as my kitchen. It was cracking me up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I know that when they were building the suites, one of the key things that they wanted was almost that feeling when you're at home and everybody's gathered around the kitchen counter or they're watching the game from, everybody's gathered together. So that's why you get this more open space in the suites where you saw that they had those long tables. That is so you can sit down literally and have a family style meal, which is what we did. And so I love that part of it too, that it was really focused on, with theater seating, it doesn't feel exactly like a gathering. That's awesome when you're watching the game, but at halftime or other parts of the game where you may not necessarily want to be watching the on-field action, then you still have a place to all gather and have a conversation. So it's also that really thoughtful design that is reminiscent of home that makes it such a special experience.
Right. And football's family already. So between home and then family and, having a great conversation. What are a couple of ideas from NFL suites that people can make, can do in their own home?
Well, if you saw that, the suite tour we just did, it's not as luxurious as you might think. A lot of the ultra luxury is in the private clubs. And so some of the ideas are very doable, and some don't even cost any money to do yourself. For example, the TV placement, we've talked about that before in the past. Maybe having multiple TVs. I know in my family at Thanksgiving, we realized we're going to probably put in at least one more TV because we were kind of all spread out and everybody watched the holiday games, and that's probably going to be the same at Christmas. And so, maybe thinking about something like that. Is there a way to do it where you have multiple so everybody gets a good view? Because in our family, if you don't have maybe multiples, somebody's probably going to have to sit on the floor. Somebody's going to have to stand the whole game because we just didn't have enough seating in one room. So that's another thing to think about, is really take yourself and sit in each seat and see, is there a really good view of the game? Because I think that's the most frustrating thing, when you don't have good view and a good sound of the game. And then also just focus on making sure the sound is going to be good. You want to make sure that there's some soft goods, we call them, in the room. Like, you make sure you have a rug and those draperies and cushions and blankets and things like that. So it's not this echo chamber. And those are just some, easy ways that people can get their house ready, especially in time for Christmas, that don't cost it any money, that you see in the suites. And I also love just the way that, little tips from the buffet, for example, if you're going to be eating before or after or during the game and setting up your buffet, make sure that you have, like the silverware at the very end or already on the table, so people aren't having to carry their cup and their silverware and their napkins, when really all they just need is their plate when they're going through the buffet line. Little things like that, you kind of just forget in the moment. But I'm very excited about the holiday games coming up too.
So am I, and playoffs are coming. The regular season is ending, playoffs, and it's an exciting time. I love the holidays, and I love, the end. I hate the end of football season because it's ending, but I love it because it's so exciting. Who's making, who's going to make the playoffs and ultimately Super Bowl. Well, Shay, you have some exciting things going on. You have a new podcast. It's launching soon. It's called Game Day with Shay. Just wanted you to talk about it a little bit.
Oh, thanks, Deb. I really appreciate that, because obviously you and I, we go back a few years, and we were both, I think, the genesis of the idea for that podcast. And, both of us kind of coming from HGTV and design backgrounds, but loving sports. And so, had tried to pitch a show over the years involving sports and design. And it just has always been something that, I just appreciate you so much, because you didn't let the vision die and brought me on this show where I've been able to talk about it, but just decided to expand it just because there's just so much, to say about it. So many women now getting involved. Want to thank, Jason and this network, because, sometimes you hear, oh, sports, it's the boys club, especially football, but I have not found that at all. Yeah, especially not in this community. And I have appreciated the support. So we're excited to expand what we've been talking about here. If you like this kind of conversation about how to get your home game day ready, how to get your, home ready for just interior design and gathering, that's what that show is going to be about, really, for the sports loving, primarily geared towards women, but we have a feeling a lot are going to be watching our men.
Well, we will definitely keep our eye out for that. And also, where can our audience find you?
My new email and my new socials, Game Day with Shay.
Here we go. All right, Shay. We'll see you soon. Happy holidays.
Same to you.
All right, guys, let's get into the games, shall we? Week 16, let's welcome third generation sports betting expert, Alex White, to give you your best bet for week 16.
It's time to get some NFL betting advice from Alex White and the Blonde Blitz. Win big so I can rob you later.
Hi, Deb. Hi, Blonde Blitz fans. Happy to be back here. I cannot believe the Carolina Panthers lost that game, especially after Tampa Bay dropped one to the Falcons. But we got to move on. Week 16 here in the NFL. The Chargers are catching points against the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are overvalued. I think this is a great spot. Yes, we saw their defense get a little bit better, but now they have regressed again back to one of the worst defenses in the league. They just gave up 34 points to J.J. McCarthy and company, and they're settling for way too many field goals. So although their offense, number 1 in yards per game and number 3 in points per game, they're relying on Aubrey way too much. Now they're going to face a defense that is the 6th best red zone defense in the league. They are also 4th best in opponent yards per game. This Chargers defense has been very stingy. as of late, and it could be a weird spot. They just beat the Chiefs. They've got the Texans up next, but the Chargers have not punched their ticket yet for the playoffs, and the Cowboys, they could be eliminated before that game kicks off on Sunday. So I like the Chargers catching 2.5 points here on the road against the Dallas Cowboys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alex. All right, guys, of course, we can't talk sports betting without talking fantasy, right? Here's fantasy expert Ballers Meg with her advice for week 16.
When I'm looking for fantasy advice, I listen to Meg from TSS Fantasy.
Hi guys, welcome back to the fantasy football section of the Blonde Blitz podcast with me, Ballers Meg. So let's jump into the players that I would recommend you pick up ahead of week 15 games. Starting off over in Houston, where I'm picking up Nico Collins. They're facing an Arizona Cardinals side that is weak right now. Nico Collins is an absolute baller. Paired up with CJ Stroud, absolutely going to do great things this week. Next up, I'm taking Travis Etienne Jr. That Jags side have been on fire recently. They are playing the Jets this weekend. We know the Jets are trash. They have been all season. I am very hopeful that Travis Etienne Jr. can get some real decent points this week and put up those touchdowns to boot as well. Finally, my last player that I'm going to be picking up for my daily fantasy squad this week is Ted McMillan over at the Carolina Panthers. Now, they're facing a Saints side that are high off a victory last week. However, that Panthers team have been formidable this season. Nobody could have expected them to be as good as they were, although a few of us had a sneaky feeling that they might be. I'm taking Ted McMillan. I think he is going to ball out this week. If you would like more hints, tips, tricks and advice on all things fantasy football, then please make sure you check out TSS Fantasy. Our shows are on a Friday and a Sunday where we are live and we will talk you through all our advice for fantasy football. And if you want to catch me some more, then Ballers_Meg on all social media platforms. You can catch my content across there. And I will see you next week for week 16. Take care, guys.
Hello there. All right, thanks so much, Meg. Next intuitive reader 333 Ask Carrie is using her Power Deck cards to predict the Steelers versus Lions game this week. Carrie, what's going on?
Let's see what the Power Deck cards say about these NFL team futures.
Ask Carrie here, ready to give you Week 16 game predictions for the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Detroit Lions game, and I will be using my Power Deck. So with everything going on, we have winter solstice, December 21st, actual game day, and that's going to bring in this dark quietude, a little ominous energy. However, we have the sun in Capricorn and we also have Mars in Capricorn, which brings in a completely different energy to the whole feel. And the sun in Capricorn is more about strategy building, moving steady, feeling grounded, along with Mars in Capricorn being the power plays and power punches of the entire game. So there might be a fight or two that might start. So that energy and that kind of like moves, we have new moon in Sagittarius on Friday, which definitely brings in like fresh starts. We have for the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, who is leading his team with being number one in the AFC North division. And, congratulations, Aaron, on that. And with that Sagittarian new moon energy, those fresh starts means to kind of like wipe the slate clean, always come in with a new attitude into this game, and he definitely is. But then with the actual Lions, they are coming off of a loss, so they have a lot to make up for as regarding their mental space and capacity. Quarterback Jared Goff is a Libra, so that definitely like shaves off and really helps his team with getting back their head into the game and really trying to move into a better position there. They are both 8-6 as far as records go, guys. So let's see what the Power Deck screams out. First, we have I have for the Steelers, since they are not on home turf. They have the Ace of Diamonds, and that means that there's just a lot of positive career-breaking news that might be happening in this particular game, along with the Four of Pentacles, Four of Clubs energy, which is holding ground. And then they have the Two of Hearts, which is kind of like a very harmonious, like we're coming together, we're all partnering, we're making this a team effort type of energy. So let's see how that feels for the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions, they get the Seven of Hearts, so they are the fans' favorited on home turf. And then they get the Queen of Diamonds, which they have a female owner. And then they have the Ten of Spades, which definitely, though, is not the most highest rated card to actually have success. And so the team that I see winning this out numbers wise, I see it's going to be Steelers 27, and I feel that it's going to be Lions 24. And that's going to be a little sad for the Lions, but the Steelers are on hot momentum, guys. So look forward to seeing what that game result is. And Deb, thanks for the Blonde Blitz jacket, and back to you. Happy holidays, everyone.
All right, guys. Ben Troupe has the night off, but Jason, Commissioner Cooper, is here to help me out with Week 16 game picks.
Bring in Deb and Troupe so we can get our NFL picks.
All right, I take that back. Ben Troupe is here. Former tight end for the Buccaneers and the Titans, the one, the only Ben Troupe. Hi, Ben.
How you doing, Deb?
I'm doing very well. What did you think of last week's games?
Well, I mean, outside of Patrick Mahomes being out for the season,
right?
And I think I want to say Josh Allen and company just reestablished dominance. You know, Drake May, outside of him and his wife doing TikToks and making cookies or whatever they're doing, I think that a hierarchy got reestablished when they still got 3 games to play, and you know the thing, and I think the thing about the Rams. You might want to watch out for what the Rams and, you see what Matthew Stafford and company is doing. Michael Parsons goes out for the year. That's going to hurt Green Bay. That's going to hurt. And for everybody that thought that the Eagles weren't that good, you might want to look again. I mean, now, Deb, it was against the Raiders, so it's kind of asterisk. It was the Raiders.
Dominated that game.
But the game that stood out the most was, listen, my Falcons go out there on Thursday night. They beat the Bucs. The Panthers are in first place, and they lose.
Yeah.
You lose to New Orleans and Tyler Shuck. Come on, I was shocked.
I was at the Eagles game watching the highlights, and I was like, are the Panthers really losing this game? How in the world did they lose?
They got swept. I mean, you got swept by the New Orleans Saints, who no one saw. And unfortunately, my Tennessee Titans, Cam Ward threw a touchdown pass to Jeffrey Simmons. The problem is Jeffrey Simmons played defensive tackle because the receivers don't want to catch passes there. They don't want it. But watch out for them Chargers. The Chargers just ended the dynasty. They ended the season for Patrick Mahomes. And I kind of been stalking the internet trying to see what's up with Travis Kelce. I don't think he's coming back. I could be wrong.
I don't think he's coming back either. I don't think he's coming back either. And also, too, Eagles-wise, the game was only 2.5 hours, which thank God, because it was freezing cold. But it was the second.
So they sped the game up real fast. I mean, Max Crosby is he's arguing with Devin White. Y'all got the question of the day is Pete Carroll going to be the head coach of the Raiders in 2026? Because it's ugly. It is ugly.
I don't think so at all. I think Black Monday, here we come with him, unfortunately. Well, let's get.
And the Cowboys are fraudulent. Just saying.
I agree with you there too. Even though I'm here right now, I'm in Dallas. But anyway, let's talk about these games. Rams versus Seahawks Thursday at 8:15 p.m. tomorrow. What you got and why?
This is going to be the game of the week. I really, really enjoy the fact that you got two 11-3 teams in the same division. I'm gonna go with the old vet. Even though I'm older than Matthew Stafford, I just think that the Rams. Let me say this. I think Seattle is the better team. Complete team. It's my offense, defense. I do.
Really?
But here's the thing, Dale. Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, they found something real nice. It's a look. As long as we keep Matthew Stafford, who missed the whole preseason, by the way. I think it's gonna be a really, really good game. I just think that the Rams are playing at a different level right now because I think that Matthew Stafford is saying, I'm not in my 20s. I'm in my late 30s. I got to cherish these moments, these games, these years. I got my best years are definitely behind me, but he's putting his best, dare I say, one of his best years together. So I don't feel good about it, but I'm going to go with the Rams. I'm going to go with Sean McVay and company over Coach McDonald and the Seattle Seahawks.
I agree with you. And also, congratulations to Coach McVay. He just had his second baby with his wife.
That baby already got a headset. That baby already calling plays.
Absolutely. Well, this game is super important. The winner will take over first place in the NFC West and have the inside track to number 1 seed in the NFC playoff picture. Like you said, both are 11-3, both NFC. Game is in Washington. Both defenses are strong. I just Matthew Stafford and the Rams' ability to put points on the scoreboard at this point. Yeah. You said Puka, Devontae.
Yeah, I hope Devontae is back. Yeah, I do.
They're talking he might be back. Blake Corum, Connor Williams. I mean, that tight end room. It's just Matthew Stafford just threw for 368 yards in the last game, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he's just on fire. Darnold and the Seahawks did not have a touchdown last week. It was all field goals. It was 6 field goals last week.
That's right. They're gonna have to get in the end zone against the Rams if they want to have a shot.
Exactly. It'll be an outdoor game in the elements. Seattle, it's always raining. I don't think that's going to affect anything. Rams are 1-point favorites. I'm going Rams too. Next one, we got Packers versus Bears Saturday at 8:20 p.m. What you got and why?
No, Micah Parsons is going to be a big problem. But here's the thing: whether it's been Brett Favre, whether it's been Aaron Rodgers, not Jordan Love, what is it about owning real estate? The Bears just can't beat the Packers. I don't understand it. Ben Johnson has done an incredible job with Caleb Williams in year 1, even though it's year 2 for Caleb Williams. But I think Jordan Love and company going, just like the New England Patriots had to reestablish who is the big dog in this conference. I think that Green Bay looks at Chicago and said, great season, Caleb. Great season, Coach Ben Johnson. No Micah Parsons, but we was beating y'all without Micah Parsons in 2024. Same thing, just no Mike. I think it's going to be a good game. I do, but I favor Green Bay in these games because Green Bay, they're used to playing in big games late in the year. Chicago, this is new for them to be playing meaningful football in December. Good game, yeah, having a winning record. Their coach is coming back in 2026 because by this time they're going to fire the coach, they're going to fire the coordinators, get rid of the quarterback. Caleb Williams has done a really, really nice, had a nice bounce back year in year 2. But Jordan Love say, I ain't new to this, I'm true to this. I'm gonna go with Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers to continue their dominance over Chicago.
All right, I'm actually gonna disagree with you on this one. I'm gonna go Chicago. I'm not sure if Green Bay can do it without Parsons. We'll see. Packers right now are 9-4. Bears are 10-4. It's at Soldier Field. It's at home. I love a good rival game. You know this. You never know when it comes to those rival games, right? Like what's going to happen. The last game they played came down to the wire. I think that will happen again. Green Bay won last time. I think Chicago takes it this time. I feel like people are counting the Bears out because they've always counted the Bears out and they're not used to this, having a winning record. But Caleb and Ben Johnson, like, show them what you got on this one. Packers are favored by 2.5. I don't agree with it. I'm going to go Chicago. All right. Okay. Let's do 2 more. Let's do Chargers versus Cowboys Sunday at 1 p.m.
I appreciate the fact that the Chargers are playing really, really good football. And this is what I don't like. The Dallas Cowboys have a 1% chance of making about 1%. Look, I'm going to say, let's Coach Harbaugh. Coach Harbaugh and company. Let's go ahead and take these Cowboys out of their misery. Let me tell you why the Cowboys get on people's nerves. George Pickens is one of the best receivers in football. But when he doesn't decide to play, he's one of the worst receivers in football. And the problem is he's both people and you don't know who's going to show up. Deb, you don't know who's going to show up on Sunday, right? I just think that Justin Herbert is exercising a lot of demons. He's finally got Patrick Mahomes out of there, even though he still got to deal with Denver. He still got to deal with them. They ain't going nowhere. I just think for this Dallas Cowboy team, I mean, the fact that Stephen Jones is going to walkie-talkie. get a walkie-talkie from? Who are you talking to? Anyway, I'm gonna go with Justin Herbert and the sure thing in the Chargers. And to the Cowboys fans, they've already got their wait till next year, because that's what they said. You just wait till next year. It's been no years and 30 years, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
I mean, I always say Dak chokes in the playoffs, but I think they're choking a little bit too soon, or a little bit sooner than this year. It's just been a super strange NFL season. But anyway, Chargers are 10-4, Cowboys are 6-7. Like you said, Chargers are on a roll. They beat the Eagles and they beat the Chiefs.
Yes.
I do think CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens could definitely make some noise, but I feel like Harbaugh is going to find a way to pull this win off.
Absolutely.
I just don't think the Dallas defense, especially the way they looked last week, can hold the Chargers.
Not for 4 quarters they can't. No.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I think Dallas is done. I think this game puts the nail in the coffin.
Oh yeah, I'm looking for the Stephen A. Smith emoji, the laughing emoji after the game. They're gonna do the camera view, and you're gonna see him laughing. I can't wait.
All right, let's do one more. Buccaneers versus the Panthers Sunday at 1 p.m. Who you got and why?
As much as I want to pick the Buccaneers, because the Buccaneers, they went from not being in first place when they lost to my Falcons to being back in first place after the Saints beat the Panthers. I'm gonna pick the Panthers for this reason though. You got 2 former number 1 overall picks. I mean, last time I checked, Baker Mayfield played for the Panthers at one point when he was going around different leagues. I think if the Panthers want to be respected in an NFC South that's about as volatile and unpredictable as it get, but Baker Mayfield wants to win, but I think Baker Mayfield is solidified. They've won the conference like the last 2 or 3 years in a row.
They've lost the last 5.
Yes, if you are the
won it
Panthers,
the last 5 years.
I'm going to go with Coach Canales and Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young, he didn't play his best against Tyler Shuck and New Orleans Saints. This is a division rival. Now, once again, I don't feel good about it. But J.T. Horn, Derek Brown, you talk about Ted McMillan, you talk about Coker and those guys, you talk about, Dowdle and those guys. They got a shot. And I think if the Panthers want to have a way to finally win this division, they're going to have to beat the Buccaneers who are telling the Saints, thank you for beating come on, man, you're gonna lose to the Saints twice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Panthers, even though Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans, they will not be going quietly into the night.
Right. And that's actually, I'm gonna disagree with you. I actually would like to see the Panthers win this, and I think they can, but I'm gonna go Buccaneers, even though they've lost the last 2 games, which is unusual. Like, what is going on with them? They have their weapons back. Like, Godwin's back, Bucky Irvin's back, Mike Evans back, and they're still losing. It just, I don't know what's going on, right? But, Panthers are on the prowl.
Yeah.
I just don't see the Buccaneers losing again.
Deb doesn't trust Coach Canales and Bryce Young. It's fine. They're the Panthers. They're the Panthers.
I just can't do it. Like you said, the Bucs are aiming for their 5th straight NFC South title. I think they get back on track with this game.
Okay.
Bucs are favored by 3 points too. So, all right, Ben, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, stay tuned. His show, No Weddings in the Fall, is up next. So stay tuned right here at That Sports Podcast Network. Today's show is sponsored by Wish LBI and Underdog Fantasy. Go to Underdog Fantasy and use promo code BLONDE, and we'll double your deposit up to $100. If you like tonight's show, please subscribe, and you can follow us on all socials at The Blonde Blitz. All right, guys, football forever. See you next week, and go Birds.